Continuing on in the Amazon KDP series, we're going to talk about the most highly sought after answer in pricing your books. Many people say, what do I price it at? Do I do $2.99 or $9.99? Now, what about my paperback or my hardcover? Where does that go? If you've ever had questions or you're still not confident about the prices that you put on your book when you're publishing through Amazon KDP, well, I got you covered in today's podcast, so stay tuned. What's shaking? Is Dale here, and I'm just tickled to death. You took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me to talk about my favorite thing, self-publishing books. Hey, today's sponsor is me. I am going to be sharing with you the Self-Publishing with Dale curated content over on Substack. Get all things related to this brand and channel and beyond in one spot. That includes podcasts, videos, blog posts, and more. Also get exclusive curated content on Substack that you will find nowhere else. Yeah, that's right. There's actually unique articles that are put together by my content manager on our Substack. So you're tired of keeping tabs on Self-Publishing with Dale. You're like, what's going on? Is he over on Instagram? Is he on Twitch? Is he over on the YouTube podcast channel? I don't know. Well, we've got you covered. Subscribe for free and get notifications how you wish. Yeah, that's right. You can set the notifications however you wish to get them when you visit dalelinks.com/Substack. I am just really thrilled to be using Substack. It is awesome to kind of see all of our hard work as a team come together. Yeah, believe it or not, folks, Self-Publishing with Dale is not just me. It's not just me. I'm narcissistic enough to actually just keep my name on the brand, but nonetheless, I've got a really great team that helps put all this stuff together. So the most common question I get, like this is the most common question. I don't know what other creators get out there, but I get this a lot. What should I price my book? Now, this is it's a tough answer because it depends a lot on your niche. And it also depends on your value. And it also depends on the length of the content and the audience. Oh, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. What I normally answer to people, this is my boilerplate response, is go to your niche, right? Over on Amazon. You're going to visit a book similar to yours on Amazon, all right? So think of a book that would be next to yours on a bookshelf. That's the book that you're going to go to. You're going to scroll down to the product details section, and that's going to show the imprint, the publishing date. It's going to say the number of pages, and in some instances, if it's ebook, it's going to say the actual amount that's going to be downloaded, that type of thing, all that information. And if it's been sold at least once, it's actually going to have the category for it, and probably up to 3 categories. Click on the category that's relevant to your book. All right. So if that book is related to yours, hopefully those categories work for yours. If it doesn't, then just disregard, find another book. But it's going to take you over to the Amazon bestseller list for the given category that you're clicking on. Now, this is the part that you got to really pay closest attention to is what are the top 20 books on the Amazon bestseller list? Pay very close attention. By the way, it will help if you also install DS Amazon Quick View. So that way, with that browser extension, and when you're on .com, you'll be able to get all of the product detail information in one spot. I actually forgot to put that inside my notes, but using DS Amazon Quick View, it's a browser extension, makes your life a little easier. It's 100% free. You don't need to get the premium version. Sorry, DS Amazon Quick View. I've never paid a dime for them, and I probably never will so long as they give just what we need. So it's going to make those product details available for each of those top 20 books. Now, what we want to pay attention to is what's their price, okay? Even if we don't pay attention to the product details, we're going to come back to that in just a second here. Average out the amount that they're charging for each one of the books in the bestseller list, all right? All you have to do is add all the prices of the books in the top 20, then divide it by 20. You got your answer, give or take $1 or $2. That's going to give you the average. Now, what this doesn't address are the reader expectations, the actual length, because believe it or not, a bestseller list, it's not like they're like, well, this is 20 pages and this is 200 pages. We're just going to separate this into another bestseller list. Yeah, there is some separation in some regards, like a 20-page, manuscript is probably going to go into a short reads category, but it also can be placed into regular categories. So what are the reader expectations? What are they thinking about? And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this one. What's the length of each one of those? And that's why we want DS Amazon Quick View, so we don't have to keep clicking on each one of those pages to figure out how many pages each one of those books are. The next thing is, what's the perceived value, right? What's the perceived value? What's the audience expecting, and how much value do you have to give in exchange for the dollars that they're going to part ways with? Now, here's the more labor-intense answer. Go to your niche like I'd mentioned before. You're going to sift through the tables. You're going to look for the length, hence why we want the DS Amazon Quick View plugin. And also pay attention to the reviews. This is the part that's going to take the most time. This is going to give you some recon even before you publish your book. Focus on all of the reviews, but typically what I try to hit all the 5 stars and all of the 1 or 2 stars. Look into the 1 or 2 stars and figure out, what are the customers saying? It could probably be something like, this is $2.99 for a pamphlet. Don't pay for it. Or it could probably be like, oh my gosh, this is the best book ever. I only paid 99 cents. Are you crazy? Things like that really help you understand what the customer's mindset when they purchase it. That's not to say that you should go and make something 99 cents if for some reason it doesn't sit right with your soul. You don't need to sit here and go, well, the readers said 99 cents is what my niche should be. You still got to feel good about that because you've put your heart and soul into something like that. Also, another thing to pay attention to, is there a price match or pricing markdown? Ooh, that's something I don't say in my boilerplate instructions because, believe it or not, pricing fluctuates. Right. And based on whatever the book is being sold on another platform, Amazon's little web crawlers goes out and says, ooh, there's a cheaper price for this book, so we're going to go ahead and mark it down. So that could really mess things up if you're seeing a price match of some sort. And only way to really find out if there is a price markdown is actually going to the individual book's page, because then you will be able to see if there's a line out on a particular book. You'll see this mostly happening with print books more so than ebooks, because ebooks will do like a price markdown strike through based on the print price. Okay, so that's the way they kind of justify people buying ebooks is, well, here's what you would pay if you got the print book, but since you're getting the ebook, you're going to get it marked down to this. So just be mindful of that. You don't want to go, well, normally the book is $14.99, but the paperback is $14.99. Well, it's because it's $14.99, period. Now, this also largely depends on the lifespan of the book and the relevant marketing tactics. Yeah. So if a book's been around a long time and it's been a mainstay, or it's a trad pub book, aka traditional publishing, if you ever hear me say trad pub, that's what it is, then chances are very likely if it's staying there, that might be a good indicator of pricing. And especially if you're looking at, a good apples to apples comparison. If this manuscript is, say, 200 and some odd pages and yours is 200 and some odd pages, then maybe your pricing should be somewhat close to that. Again, pay attention to whether it's TradPub or self-publishing, because TradPub has deeper marketing pockets and they will typically dip into those type of things. You don't know what they're able to work out with Amazon. They don't have the same system as what we do through KDP. They don't have the 35%, 70% royalties. They are probably treated considerably different. All right, so now when it comes to pricing though, ebook versus print book. Now, let me get this one out the way. Do not, and I repeat, do not price your ebook the same as your print book. Yeah, believe it or not, I've actually seen some authors do this. What are you doing? There's no real incentive for readers to buy the ebook if they can get the print book at the same price. Yes, this is an issue. I've seen some authors out there doing this. So what should the pricing difference be between the ebook and the print book? Well, look at the royalty you get in your pocket for the sale of each one of those items. You should not be getting less royalty from your print book than what you do with your ebook. Okay, ebook, you should probably be seeing that you're getting less royalties for each one of those. Why? Because it's cheaper. Whereas print books, it's a little bit higher. Anecdotally here, I don't feel like citing my sources or looking anybody up, but many reports over the past decade have shared how print books still carry the lion's share of global publication profits. Now, some would argue that since a lot of ebooks don't have ISBNs, that the sales are not trackable through this. But data is what data is. And it's been shared that people still like to have physical products they like to hold on to. We are material creatures that like to hold things and possess things. Having something that is a soft copy is not quite as materialistic. Not too many people can go, hey, look at my 2,000 ebooks on this. Yeah, they're great. Look at my 2,000 books on my shelf. Ooh, now that's pretty awesome. That's a good flex right there. But anyway, let me give you an example. Your ebook profit could, say, be $2. Then your print book profit should be somewhere between $2 or considerably more. Now, heck, print book profits can be anywhere from 3 to 4 times or more of the ebook profit. That's going to be completely up to you. For me, most times, it's typically about 4 times the profit. It's just what I like to shoot for. And also, it's still honoring the niche which I'm publishing in. So that means that I'm pricing according to what other books are doing within that niche. Now, the other thing we got to kind of address is pricing according to marketing. Because if you're marketing and promoting your book, there's going to be some tactics that you need to be aware of. The very first one's going to be pre-orders. Oh, man. Don't offer pre-orders unless you plan on marketing and promoting it. Let me explain why. Make it worth their while when you go and promote a pre-order. All right? That means you're going to want to make sure you price it completely different than when it fully launches. So we'll say, just as an example, 99 cents for your ebook on pre-order, and then it launches at, say, $2.99. Otherwise, no one has a real reason other than being a diehard fan of you to purchase at the same price. I'll just wait until it releases. It's not that inconvenient. Make it worth their while. You know, what would your potential reader gain from ordering early access? So that's just one of those things you have to think of. And also, folks, when it comes to pre-orders, don't do a pre-order unless you plan on marketing and promoting it. I'm probably going to say this again, but I think it's just something I see far too often. People are doing pre-orders for the sake of pre-orders. And unfortunately, what that does is algorithmically to your book is messes it up. You might as well just go for the hard launch and just get it done with, because if you're not marketing and promoting it, getting a pre-order is not going to change anything. You're not given it any extra attention. You're just given a clock that ticks down up to a year at a time. And beyond that, it's up to you to go ahead and do this. Now, there is one method that I've talked about a few times on this podcast, and I think I even mentioned it in one of my books, the Amazon Self-Publisher series. It's the hotshot method. Now, hotshot is not an industry term here in publishing. It's actually something I came up with. I used to be in the pro wrestling business, and one of the terms was called hot shotting. When you would hot shot something in a specific wrestling territory, pro wrestling, like on television here, folks, you would take the most craziest story, and you would take the most craziest interaction, and you would put it on television in hopes to spike the amount of people in attendance. So for something like hot shotting, you're going to start at a very low price. I mean, go as low as you can go. 99 cents is probably the best way to kind of go about it. And then what you want to do is drive traffic and sales to your book at that 99 cent mark. Now, keeping in mind, $1, most people go, that's $1, you know, and probably with taxes included, buck and some change. I can go ahead and support you. I'm going to go ahead and order that. Great. It boosts those sales up. Now, I used to love the hotshot thing. It's great, but the problem with the hotshot method is it is not as good as it once used to be. Amazon's not looking for one-hit wonders. They're not looking for books that are going to be selling a lot one minute and then nothing the next. So the hotshot method, I would recommend, the key to that, using that, is consistent sales. Maybe building and ramping up your promotions to when you do launch at 99 cents, and then you promote the heck out of it, and then maybe gradually increase that pricing while you continue to drive traffic and sales. Because one of the things that the Amazon algorithm loves is consistent sales. Stay consistent with that. And remember, don't simply put a pre-order up and expect Amazon to get behind you. You are responsible for the traffic, not Amazon. All right. You say, oh, pre-orders don't work for me. No, that's on you. Amazon's not going to do nothing for your pre-order if you are not providing the sales, not providing the proof of concept. What I would say is look into arranging newsletter swaps, set up book promotions, and run Amazon advertising for that specific thing. Now, let's go to another one here in the pricing strategies, and that would be first in series. Now, this mostly applies to fiction writers, but to a certain extent, nonfiction writers as well. The first in series, the whole theory is let's go as low as we can, 99 cents, or even making it permanently free. Not a big fan of the permanently free in the first in series, but that's just my opinion. Do this only if you have about 6 or more titles in a series to justify the price drop. Why is that? Well, what we want to focus on is buy-through rate. If you know that readers stay on for book 1 to book 2, a certain percentage, then it could probably justify that huge price drop. And then maybe from book 2 to book 3, it's still pretty good, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, so on and so forth. The buy-through rate is what you should focus on. So just simply dropping it down there because you don't feel confident about your first in series is not a good idea. If you're not confident, go back to an editor and get it all cleaned up. Feel confident about the book you're putting out. And then the buy-through rate is figuring out what type of sales you're getting from one book to the next. Now for KDP Select, we actually call it read-through rate. So meaning that we take the total number of checkouts or pages read averaged out amongst all the readers and such to figure out where are we going from one book to the next again. So how do you figure your buy-through rate? It's as simple as this. Get your monthly sales sample. So just download your report for all of your books. Note the number of sales of each of the books in the series. All right. So it could be book 1 gets 20 sales. Book 2 gets 15 sales. Book 3 gets 10 sales. So you're going to figure out that percentage between each one of those things. So what is the percentage change from one book to the next? Knowing that will help you confidently understand, should I make this free or at a low price of say 99 cents, or in some instances $2.99 if that's your bargain basement pricing. The whole idea is to get readers hooked so that way they go through your entire book funnel, if you will. It's book funnel series, your series funnel, either way. I'm just making things up as I go along, it sounds like. But all joking aside, figure that out. That buy-through rate and the read-through rate, big thing. Now, there's another tactic called price pulsing. Now, the whole thought process behind price pulsing is adjusting the price to get more sales or to capitalize on the amount of sales that you're getting. Now, this means, say, for instance, your normal price is $2.99. Let's say you saw a bump in sales. Let's say you went from, say, having a dozen sales to 3 dozen sales per day. And it just seems like it's keeping and going. Well, probably now is a good time to increase the price of that book, just so that way you can be able to profit on the traffic that's being driven there. And in some instances, you find like a bunch of downloads all of a sudden happening all at once. Chances are very likely Amazon's algorithm's picking up on you. But what you should be careful about with the price pulsing is with print books. Now, a number of years ago, CreateSpace had this issue to where you would publish something through it and in expanded distribution, it'd send it on out. Now, today, it still does it with KDP. And when you want to change the price, let's say you increase it to, let's say $9.99, they go up to $29.99, a huge bump. Now, here's what happens is Amazon, it publishes right away, but on the other expanded distribution avenues that Ingram handles, they're going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to do that. Amazon's crawlers will go out and see that your content is available at a lower price somewhere else and it'll automatically price match it. And they will honor the amount that you have set for retail pricing. So if it's $29.99, you will be paid at that amount. So that being said, it's marked down to $9.99. You would literally be able to go and buy your books, but get paid to take your books off the shelf. Yeah, they don't like the fact that people found that loophole, and I'm sure it's not going to be around for much longer, but there have been many people who have been suspended and even terminated because of doing this. Bottom line is this: price pulse only when you see a bump or drop in sales, and don't jump up the price so high that it looks like you're literally trying to scam Amazon out of money. Move up the price when the sales go up. Move down the price when the sales go down. Now, are the sales staying the same? Don't mess with it. Leave it alone. All right. As we wrap up today's podcast, I also want to let you know, get all things related to self-publishing with Dale, including podcasts, videos, blog posts, and exclusive content when you visit our Substack at dalelinks.com/Substack. My final thoughts, folks, there's no hard and fast rule for pricing. What you got to think about are these few questions. What's your value? How much is your writing worth to you for all your hard work and for all the investment you put into it? I mean, does it make sense for you to do a 99-cent ebook if you spent $10,000 to put the whole thing together? Yes, there are people out there that spend $10,000. Think about that. What is your worth? Stop worrying about what some YouTuber has as far as like, well, it's $9.99. No, you have to figure that out. That's going to take some soul searching. And I know that took about a 20-minute podcast and summarized it down to one point, but that's really what it comes down to. Hey, folks, next week's episode is going to be a pause, and we're going to be coming back and continuing in about another 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about the best book launch strategy for Amazon KDP. In the meantime, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale. I want you to remember, get advanced access to all podcasts. Visit dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast 1 week before the audio content publishes. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll chat with you then. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.